Greetings to you all. I'm currently on an expedition with our young students from Kingdom Hill School, and I'm doing well. I know you'll be happy to hear that the school is off to a good start and that the preparation I underwent with Keith last year has been of a huge benefit in my leadership role as Director of Sport. I hope you're all in good spirits and that this report allows you to capture the essence of what I would have reported to you in person had my life not been completely consumed by the rigours of private school teaching. Hosea Ministries is a thriving organisation that is transforming the lives of people in their local community of Phnom Penh and their rural communities in local provincial towns and villages. My impression of the Khmer people initially was one of deep sorrow. Having read about the Pol Pot regime, I entered the country pitying the population and wondering how I might best support David and Gail in the work they do. As I observed the Khmer people working and living, I could understand why drugs was a large problem and why prostitution and trafficking are high. It seemed normal and almost acceptable for people to live lives where aspirations were low. However, David, through discussions, observation opportunities, and glances at real-life Cambodia, showed me that it was exactly the mentality I had that was a major issue in Phnom Penh and its community. Humanitarian aid in Cambodia is not an issue, nor is the supply of aid and relief that Cambodian people have received over the years. A prevalent issue in Cambodia is that of cooperation between agencies and the lack of people involved in sustainable community development. As I walked around the markets and looked at buildings, it was obvious that the Western NGOs had a massive presence in the city, and yet what seems to have come from so much relief being poured into the communities is a reliance upon it. Hosea Ministries has an office located centrally in Phnom Penh. It is well equipped and the staff are extremely courteous. My first impression was extremely positive and remained so during my time there. The scope of the operation is large, and David manages and leads the organisation with fantastic drive, enthusiasm and professionalism. David oversees numerous projects, as well as managing effectively a team of 10 or more staff, many of whom have benefited from training received at Hosea, which happens on a weekly basis. It is the commitment to his staff that sets David high on my list of respected leaders. He manages effectively, delegates appropriately, and is always found getting his hands dirty, troubleshooting problems, and learning new skills. The administration of the company is delegated to a staff member who has been trained entirely at Hosea, and in my professional life, both here and in the United States, I have rarely been so impressed by the level of efficiency of a member of staff. It is a credit to the professional development that David and Gail oversee that a member of staff who joins with low confidence and a limited skill set is being groomed as a future leader of an organisation. There were many other examples of a similar ilk. My time in Cambodia was well managed. I had many opportunities to go out with project staff as they visited festivals, local families and rural projects. I observed firsthand the work that Gail undertakes with local families and caught a glimpse of what she is passionate about pursuing with a project called Hosea House. Gail's passion is to see people coming to a residential house to undergo therapy, counselling and drug rehabilitation. And this comes out of the desperate need not only for local people to stop using harmful drugs, but to stay off them once out of rehab units. Gail sees organisations helping people in detox, but who leave with no support and fall back into habitual drug use. Hosea House is currently being developed into a viable development plan and needs considerable financial support. This is an area where Energize and interested parties can directly influence the state of financial affairs for Hosea Ministry. On a personal level, I found Cambodia very tough. Rarely in my life have I felt so at odds with the place I've been situated. I felt that my skill set was entirely inappropriate for the community, for I'm neither good at rural problem solving nor aiding personnel in the development of community development strategies. It took me a number of weeks actually to understand the community I was in, and even then I felt limited. The staff training I conducted was a positive experience however, and while I found myself taking an entirely different direction than that which I had planned, it was hugely encouraging to receive positive feedback from the staff. Now there's definitely scope in Cambodia for sports development. There would require a pre-existing administration in order to be successful and to be managed well and sustained, which is the important thing.
Grassroots organisations that have been successful in Africa, such as Game of Two Halves, would be wonderfully received of that, I'm certain. But David mentioned that projects that work in Africa rarely work in Asia, and I can also understand what he means with the climate that he's in. Cambodia needs to be lived in and understood in order to have the prerequisite information to be able to develop sports programs that are anything more than just kick-arounds. And I know that David is keen to have personnel in place who understand the culture and have the skills required to develop effectively administered projects. There's so much more that could be said, but what remains is that I'm just really grateful for all of you at Energize for allowing me the opportunity to go to Cambodia. It's been a marvellous experience, and I look forward to talking with you in person next time I'm in Bedford, and hopefully at the next meeting. Okay, I'll be speaking with David over the next few weeks to think about ways in which I can help them from the UK and which I can serve on the Energize team for. Okay, I look forward to seeing you soon and hope the rest of your meeting goes well. Thanks.